All right, phase 4. So when I started this whole project, I didn't really know what I was going to be building. I wanted to make a little area that I could skate, and that's really about it. But after winter, I realized that what I really wanted was a mini ramp. So I bought and had delivered enough lumber this week so that I could build out this mini ramp to be 12 feet wide. Currently it's 4 feet wide. So I got enough lumber for another 8 feet of mini ramp. So today I'm going to cut it out and assemble it and hopefully start to skate it. A couple things. So because I kept the transition template that I used for the other quarter pipes, I'm going to reuse that. So this one over here is 3 feet. This is the one that I'm going to base the mini ramp on. There's a 4-foot one over on the other end. I'm going to leave that as an extension so I can do airs or get more speed, etc. So I should be able to just reuse the template, just cut it out, and basically just make another 8-foot mini ramp and then put it together with this one, and I'll have a nice 12-foot. I also, over the last week, have gone and leveled out and added cinder blocks so that I can have the 8-foot section nice and level. So I've already done that work. It's been a long week, and I've had a little bit of free time on my hands. So being able to get ahead of that was really nice. All right, so the transitions are cut. I used the existing template to cut the side over here, which is the smaller side. It's actually a little less than 3 feet. It's gonna be low, but it's gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to skating it. And then over here, I just copied the transition exactly and cut it a little lower. So this side is 4 feet tall. I cut the platform down to 3 feet. The transition is the same though, so it should roll perfectly up and I'll be able to carve perfectly up. It's just the deck will be lower. And the reason for that is I don't really want a 4-foot transition everywhere. That's way too much speed for this little quarter pipe over on this side. I'll say if you can do this with another person, that would be a lot easier. Trying to line up the 2x4s is tough, especially with 8 feet versus the 4 feet that I had the first time. Moving the ramp to the to position sucks. If you can build with another person, maybe outside of a global pandemic, that would be advised. All right, we finished up the 3-foot quarter pipe. It looks pretty good. The transition matches perfectly. It's pretty level. It looks pretty stable. We're going to take a break and get some water, a little bit of lunch, and then do the smaller quarter pipe, and then do the skinning and the coping, and then we should be done. So the transitions are pretty close, a little bit off, but I think the tracing is a little more difficult. More difficult than it needs to be. Remember on the 3s, I didn't have to really compare all that much. But it's good. I think it's gonna be close. I just need to put on all the 2x4s now and build out that skeleton. With every project, you reach that tipping point where you run out of energy. And unfortunately, I found that last time when I was building the other quarter pipes, I ran out of energy pretty quickly, and I kind of screwed up this quarter pipe over in the corner, which means that in order to get this flat, since I'm going to make this an 8-foot that we just built and a 4-foot that we're adding to, that 4-foot needs to match the 8-foot. And it didn't, of course. I screwed up. So it is much better now, but I just spent an hour that I didn't show you fixing it. I just want to be done, but it's going to take a little bit more time. I remember last time I was doing this, the wood needed a bit of time in the towel to soak so that it would bend. And I'm trying to force it and get it to bend before it's ready. And I can hear little pops and cracks, and it's like, nope, I'm just going to break the wood if I keep this up. So I'm going to call it a night, go in and get dinner and everything, and then finish it up tomorrow. Pretty good progress though. I redid the little quarter pipe that needed help. I've got both of the 8 feet quarter pipes ready, and I've got the sheets on the frame. So I'm feeling pretty good. I should be done in just a few more hours, but I'm not going to stay up all night. On to day 2. So I left the towels soaking last night and actually snuck out right after breakfast this morning and screwed down the first sheet. It seems to be doing really well. So I'm going to do the same thing with the 3 remaining sheets over the next couple of hours. It takes about 30 minutes of soaking to get it to a bendy state so that I can drill it in. I'm sure that's not always the case, but it's pretty dry and hot here today, so I feel like this wood is pretty dry. It needs a little bit of moisture to bend. After I bend the sheets, I'm gonna go and cut down the overlap where the sheets extend up past the deck and make that level, and then install the coping and then install the decks, and we should be good. All right, I hate bending this plywood. It is just so difficult for me. I keep thinking that I'm going to figure it out, but it does not ever work the way that I want it to. In this case, I feel like it got pretty good, like it's fairly flush against the 2x4s, but now I'm noticing that there's a little split between this sheet and the sheet next to it. So I'm gonna have to unscrew it, move it over a little bit, just angle it a little bit, and then screw it back on. So many things to think about, and you know, it's hard as a one-person team to get the weight and look at everything. It would be nice to have a friend. Anyway, it's on. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit, let it dry out, and then I will unscrew all of the sections that I've already screwed on, move it, re-screw them in, new holes, but just shift it over so that it's nice and flush. And in the meantime, I'm going to start work on the smaller quarter pipes that are soaking. All right, that one was a lot easier. For me, the trick so far is that I go through the bottom and I get the screws in as far as I can before it starts like visibly straining. Like over on this side, I went too fast and you could hear cracks and stuff. That's bad. So I went a lot slower and just went up a couple rows as far as they could, and then I started at the bottom again and went up a couple rows. So slowly it started pushing in, versus what I was trying to do the first time was do each row all the way flush, and that's not going to happen. So if you are building your own ramp, something that I've just found seems to work, especially working as a one-man team, slow and steady, one row at a time. Go back and redo the row. After you do the next row, slowly pulling it in. You're not going to be able to just push it all the way down in one go. All right, last sheet, and then I'm gonna get the top on, and the goal today is try to skate it. Even if it's not much, I just want to roll. I feel like I've put so much time into this, I got to get a quick session out of it. So all the skins are done. Didn't take as long as I thought. Again, it's really easy if you just take your time. One row at a time, do as much as you can, and then do the next row, and then go back and do the previous row a couple more times. Slowly but surely, it will mold to that transition, and it looks great. I'm super excited about this. It looks like so much fun. So I was going to cut the overhang and put it on the deck and then put the coping on, but I broke my saw. So when I was cutting off the deck, I got a little too close and it hit a 2x4 and just broke. So that's it for today. I'm gonna have to go get another saw, which sucks, but at least I don't know, maybe I can upgrade. Anyway, I will be back. Good day of progress. I'm going to clean up, and we'll be back tomorrow. All right, we're on day 3 now. This project is much more intricate than I realized. I thought it would be really easy, cut a few 2x4s, drill some holes, and you're good to go, but it takes a long time to build a ramp. So I broke the saw yesterday. I went and got a new saw today, and I am going to pick up where I left off. I need to cut the overhang where the sheets go up on the deck, and then I need to clean that up a little bit and put the coping on. Then I need to cut the actual decks, mount those on. Then after all that, I need to do the flat bottom and put the decks on that, and then maybe some guardrails in the back so when I get up on the coping I don't fall off, and that's really about it. I hope I can get it done today. I don't know anymore. Time is so difficult to predict when you don't know what you're doing, but it feels like I should be done today. That took far longer than it should have, but the coping and the decks are on. The problem that I ran into was when you cut out the little notch for the coping to lay in between the transition and the deck, I cut a little too deep, which means that the coping was sitting way too low. I need to go through and probably recut that. As a hack for now, I just pushed the deck a little further out and then screwed the coping in so it's kind of wedged in between. I don't think that's the right solution. Again, if you're watching this to get tips on how to build a ramp, there are plenty of better channels with videos that are really good about it. This is my half-baked interpretation of how to build a ramp. But it looks good. The coping looks great right now. I'm going to cut out the boards for the flat bottom and might actually skate it. All right, it's pretty close. I do need to do the railings, which is going to require some more 2x4s. I think I've got enough, but I'm not sure. And it just started raining. So that's the end of day 3. I will come back tomorrow and try to finish it up, put in the railings, and take out some of the screws and make sure that all the screws are sunk, and give it a session. Day 4. So last night I cheated a little bit and I skated the ramp. I brushed it off and made it so that I could skate it, pulled out a few of the screws, and it was awesome. I'm not gonna lie. It was such a fun feeling after spending all of this time and energy building this thing to actually finally skate it. Lot of tweaks that I need to make. You know, the ramp itself is great, and I think that I would be very happy with it the way that it is. 2 big things that I want to change. One, I need to finish it. So I need to put the railing around the edges. It feels really scary standing up on that deck with no railing. So that is by far the #1 thing that I need to do. The second thing is I gotta fix this coping. It is wrong. I didn't do it the way that I was supposed to, and I watched a few videos last night to learn how to make coping properly, and I just completely blew it. The biggest problem that I have is I tried to put the coping on the edge when in fact you're supposed to put it more on the top. And you can see on this edge the coping sticks out so much into the ramp, into the transition, that I had to jump over the coping if I wanted to roll up on it. It should be flush. It should be so that you can roll up and air out without jumping off of the ramp. So I need to fix that. But first I'm going to put some railings up so that even with the coping as buckled as it is right now, I don't fall off and hurt myself. Railing is done. I'm really pleased with it. It's nice and solid. I think adding that little piece of 2x4 that connected the extension to the main part made it super solid. There's so many points of contact, that thing ain't moving. I do want to put a piece at the end on this end, so if you're grinding over, you don't fall off, basically. But I ran out of 2x4. I have 2 2x4s left that I'm going to try to fix the coping with, and I'm not going to use those for this support. So I think this is enough for now. I'm going to go get started on the coping fix. Well, this sucks. So the coping looks great. It lines up perfectly. I think it's the right way to do it. The problem now is that I need to drop the deck maybe ½ an inch, and unfortunately the screws to adjust the deck are hidden inside the ramp. So I'd have to undo a lot to move it away and get under there, which I'm probably gonna have to do, but I'm not gonna do it tonight. I'm gonna call it a night, and oh well, another night without the ramp. At least it looks right. I could put the deck on, it would be high, it would be skatable, but it would be high. You would have a hard time grinding the coping. It's not the right way to do it, so I'm just gonna hold off, and I will get to it tomorrow. All right, day 5. This should be the last day. So last night I had an idea that I could just force this platform off, and I did. So I unscrewed 1/2, I wiggled it and kept pulling, and I pulled the 2x4 off of the screws. Not the right thing to do, but I got myself into this mess. I figure I couldn't do much worse, so I got myself out. So now I'm going to measure how high I want the platform, and I'm going to put that platform bolt in, drilling from the inside so I can always remove it in the future, and hopefully that's it. All right, that is much better. Not perfect, but I feel as though I'll be able to skate it without hurting myself, tripping on things or whatever. I'm gonna try to do the other side, and should have a little bit of time to skate. All right, it is done for now. I don't think it'll ever be done, but I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out. Coping looks great now. Decks are solid, the railing is solid, everything looks great. I've got a lot of things that I want to do in the future, but I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out. It's been 5 days of work, off and on work, not solid days, but 5 days of coming out here and just making a mess of things. But I am really happy, and I'm going to go inside, get dinner ready, and then after dinner come out and skate for a little bit. All right, this is amazing. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you for watching. This was a much longer video than I expected, but I hope after you watch this, you can see how difficult it is to build a mini ramp, but it's not that difficult. Even me, I mean, I made so many mistakes, and I got this. So if you know what you're doing, you probably get it done quickly. For someone like me who's really bad with tools and doesn't quite understand how to build ramps, it's still possible. And I don't think there's a better feature in your backyard than a mini ramp. Tune in next time. I've got more plans for this, and I definitely will be sharing. So make sure to subscribe and leave a comment if you've got ideas of how to make this ramp better. I would love to continue building. I don't know that I can go further out this way. My wife said not on the grass, but I've got a lot of area behind me to work with. So sky's the limit.